Kerwin Dean Abramovitch. I originally came from Los Angeles, still live in Los Angeles. I started taping in '82 because I couldn't remember a set list the next day. So, I started taping, put it in the dates on the tapes, of course. That's basically my almanac to remember where the hell I was. The nickname that somebody gave me, I don't even remember who gave it to me. Dean the taping machine. And it's after Jean the dancing machine from the Gong Show. Basically, I put the microphone right at my neckline and just would stand there and tape shows in the middle of the room. My friend says, "Let's go out," and he was a taper, and I had the car, and we're going out to all over Hollywood and LA to see various bands. I actually started taping rock bands before I started taping punk bands, bringing into like the Forum or the Greek Theater. A good friend of mine, we would go to concerts together, and she was a t-shirt girl, and I would help her out and tape the band. It was a cassette, and the sound was just absolutely, horrid because the mic wasn't good. It was all distorted. But you could hear it sometimes and hear it a little bit. Dummy me, I should have been taping everything back then. But it's like, 2020 hindsight. The first band was a band called Zoog's Rift and His Amazing Shitheads. Zoog's Rift is no longer with us, unfortunately. A brilliant guitarist, thinking man's rock, sometimes very political. Clawhammer, Backbiter, Super Cools, the Adolescents, Liberal Peeps, Pop Defect. Hello, Pop Defect. So many bands, way too numerous to mention. You could hear some of those bands, they made it big coming out of LA, like Nirvana played at Al's Bar, and my friends Clawhammer opened it for them. Fear played here, Misfits played here, there's a lot of great, Black Flag played here, everybody played here. Everybody played Al's Bar, Minutemen, everybody played Al's Bar. Talking a lot of SST bands. SST was a label out of the South Bay. Greg Ginn from Black Flag was the leader of that outfit. It was like edgy punk, edgy rock. People called punk because it was different. I called it more rock with a meaning. It's lyrics that meant something. You had to listen. You had to pay attention. Me and my good friend John, we would come here. We'd go to Raji's. We'd go to Troubadour on the west side. Al's and Raji's were totally competing against each other, and it's just like, okay, where are we going tonight? Well, we're going to Al's and we're going to Raji's. Well, let's see, the early sets over at Raji's with this band, we don't really have to see the later set. We just saw them a month ago. And the later sets, this band over at Al's, why don't we do that? Oh, okay. We would hit two places sometimes in an evening, because there was a lot of places I went to that are gone, totally gone. A lot of places in the Valley, a lot of places in LA. Al's Bar, number one, we're here. Sorry. It was one of the most friendly places that I had been to. Very cool, very mellow. Everybody was just kick back and relax. There was no tension. There was no dress code. Check your ego at the door and walk in and say hi. Not like Hollywood Boulevard. We won't go into that. We'd walk in and the bar was on the right, pool table on the left, and the open hole in the wall so you could see the bands play. Now when I just walked down there today, they've actually sealed up that hole in the wall. There's no more hole there anymore. It's just the further one to get into that second room. And the bathroom's still in the same place, the door to the little patio, which is about as big as this room. We'd have barbecues out there during the summer, which was really cool. Some great times out there. Sometimes it felt like there was 100 people out in that patio smoking cigarettes and whatnot. And then every now and then someone would pop over the roof and sneak into Al's Bar. There was a few people that had the guts to climb up and jump over, and it's like, and you had to walk across the roof and everything. And it's like, come on, $5, big deal. And that's all it ever was $5 at Al's Bar. It's really nice.
American Hotel, Al's Bar.
Toast ran the bar, did sound, booked bands. She was basically all around Al's Bar girl. She just did everything there at Al's Bar. She was great. If she wasn't in the band, she was like always there watching the band. Cliff! He was the doorman. He was the doorman. Cliff's a wonderful man. Cliff's a beautiful guy. The first time I met Cliff, he didn't let me in. I forgot my license. He works now at the Troubadour, which is very cool. When I walked into there and say, Cliff, this isn't Al's bar. And we all had a great laugh. After a couple of years at Al's bar and getting pretty used to taping and wanting to rock out a little more, saw opportunity to stick my tape recorder on top of a metal beam, part of the framing of this whole building, and put the microphone right there, which was pretty much about 6 to 8 feet in front of the speaker. So I got good vocals when the sound man was good, and put good vocals through the sound. But sometimes at Al's you couldn't really hear things because of various inept sound man. Last night of Al's bar, that was like August 2001. So we had all heard the rumors that it was going to be Al's bar last night pretty soon. It's like, yeah, it's being sold. It's last night. It's going to be like next week. So we're all over at Mr. T's watching this wonderful band called the Black Widows. Right in the middle of the T set, somebody comes over and says, it's the last night of Al's bar. And the Widows go, well, who's playing there now? I go, well, it's the Warlocks are going to be the last band. They said, no way, we're going. And the Widows, immediately after their set, packed up their gear in record time, of course with me and everybody else helping them, and we all jammed over to Al's bar. And got here about like midnight. The Warlocks did a nice long set. They were due to go on about 12:30, and they played till about 1:30, 1:35. Right after them, because they set up in the third room, and they're instrumental, the Black Widows, and all they needed, just to turn on their amps and play. So like 5 minutes after they went off, they went on, and they played till about 2:15, 2:20, something like that, 2:30. It's like, well, what are you going to do? Shut us down? We're closing anyways, and so they just kept on playing after 2. They didn't serve any more alcohol. They didn't really want to get busted or anything. Stacy and me and a few other people were here, and we basically ripped apart Al's bar. There's a few people that have a few things, and I think I still have some of the orange cloth from the pole. And someone I know has a bar stool. Pretty much everybody was there that just took something. If they reopen it, it could be cool. It depends on who plays and who comes out to see it, and we'll see what happens. We'll see. Once a year, we had a downtown arts fair. The folks would bring out all their art. The food vendors would come out. They'd close off the streets. They'd close off about 5 of the streets, with everything would like converge right here at Tracton and 3rd, and the triangle that's just up the street there. And then where Umami Burger is now right across the way. And it was all open. It was very cool. It was very nice. My brother's a sound man. I kind of learned a little bit when he was doing engineering at a little studio. I was second engineer, cleaning heads, plugging in mics, listening in back then. So I had a little knack and everything, and of course, going to see bands. And I was at a club once and familiar with pretty much everybody there. And the sound man of the club has his own band. They were playing. And for the set of them, had a friend of his come in to do sound. He didn't show up. So he goes, Dean, go ahead, do sound. I go, what? He goes, come on, you know what to do. I go, not really, but I'll give it a whirl. Basically, he said that because there was a monitor mix that was direct to a CD burner, and I would burn CDs of bands, soundboard deep CDs. So I had a mix that I could work with, and it was the same at the board, going for the regular mix. He goes, if there's hardly anybody here. If anything goes wrong, I'll jump off stage and come and fix it for you. So okay, the first song goes on, and I run up to the front into the sweet spot, and I'm listening, and I come back and do a little tweaking, and I go back up. Listen, come back, tweaking, come back up. By about the second, third song, I'm dialed in. It's perfect. It's beautiful. And at the end of the set, 3 guys come up and go, man, that's like the best sound we've ever heard here. And me and the singer were just like totally cracking up. And he turns to me, I go, I know what I want to hear. I just don't really know what to do yet. My work is my taping. That's what I call work. Pretty much everybody enjoys it, and I'm sitting or standing in the sweet spot taping, which is my enjoyment, because then for years to come I get to hear the same set and I get to pass it on to people who would love to hear it, and to the bands who say, they're so busy playing on stage they never get to hear what they really sound like to us. And I finally did get a good tape recorder with a decent microphone. It was called a Sony D6 and an Iowa CM30 mic. Had a very nice bass response to it, so you get a great room sound. And it was a binaural microphone, single point and just two little binaural kind of thing. You could hear this guitar was here, you could hear that guitar was there. Just wasn't real stereo, what we call binaural. LA, and there's a lot of places and a lot of buildings that are just like tearing down left and right. I see old films of LA, I see old films of Vegas, and I'm like, God, I remember that. And you look at Vegas now, and it's like Mars. Even I was just walking down the street, and coming down Alameda, coming here today, and I'm like, yeah, it's changed. They're making room for a metro station just up the street where the Atomic Cafe used to be. I was just like, when I'm walking home, I might even go take a break, just for the sake of it. On the metro, too, on the Gold Line, I'm like looking over and I see the nice open hole where Brew 102 used to be, if anybody knows where that is. It's the Alameda off-ramp right off the 101. It's just a big empty space. It's been there since they tore it down. They didn't build anything. They didn't put a parking lot there. Nothing remains where Brew 102 used to stand. One of my dad's favorite beers. When we had the 94 earthquake, this was one of the places that stood. Raji's, they closed down and then they tore it down for a metro station. It's gone. Clawhammer was like one of the last bands to play there before they closed that place down, because that was the Hastings Hotel. Downstairs, they're changing Al's Bar once again. And the door was open, and I actually walked in earlier just before the interview, and brought back a couple of memories, even though it's ripped apart and being ripped apart again for some kind of renovation, whatever they're going to do there. But the bar is still there, and I don't even know what they're going into now, but the bricks are all over the place, and there's cement, and there's two guys having lunch, and I said, this used to be Al's Bar, and lots of fun. It's pretty cool. I was at some other club, some other bar, a few years back, don't even remember, and I opened the bathroom door, and I was basically nearly floored, completely just whammoed. I went, uh-oh. The smell, the exact look, and I was like, sink on the left, bathroom right. I'm like, where the hell am I? I thought I was in Al's Bar. And I had to step outside the door, and okay. And I went back in and said, oh my God, this is like Al's Bar's bathroom. To the T, this place had Al's Bar's bathroom. No, the rich smell of and all the stickers and all, just the same placement of the sink and the toilet and the wall and the urinal, just everything was in its place, and it was like it was really surreal. And I had to talk to people, go into the bathroom and just take a look for a second, and they all agreed it was totally Al's Bar's bathroom, but it floored me. No, it didn't really hit anybody like it did me. For some odd reason, I thought I was in another dimension really quick, It's pretty funny.
Cut.